A legally insane man who killed a 6-year-old boy in central Kentucky is out of prison after serving less than half his sentence. And hello, everybody. It's our top story here at 5. I'm Connie Leonard.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. The White House has noticed launching its own investigation. What followed were, quote, violent death threats against Kentucky's parole board, even though it voted unanimously to keep Ron Zantis in prison. The board was powerless. Zantis drove to a central Kentucky home, randomly killing 6-year-old Logan Tipton and stabbing other members of his family. He was released under state law on mandatory re-entry supervision. Zantis killed Logan in 2015. A jury found that he was not guilty of murder by reason of insanity. He was serving a 20-year sentence for assault on the boy's family. Ian Hardwick is here now explaining this controversial early release. Ian?
Yes, Zantis shaved some time off his sentence with, quote, good behavior credits while he was in prison. The mandatory reentry supervision program took another 6 months off of that. The new Safer Kentucky Act would have required him to serve at least 85% of 20 years, but Zantis was convicted before that was passed.
He needs to be in an institution. He doesn't need to be out in the streets.
Kentucky House Representative Jason Nemes thinks Ronald Zantis left prison too soon after he admitted to killing 6-year-old Logan Tipton in Versailles in 2015.
And then he goes and he stabs his sister, and then he fights and stabs his father as he's leaving.
Zantis only saw 7 years prison time for randomly assaulting family members, although he was sentenced to 20 years. On the murder charge, a jury found him insane and not guilty.
If he was not guilty only because he was insane, he doesn't get to walk. He has to go somewhere. And so that's what keeps our people safe.
He's proposing Logan's Law, which would require people found insane in court to spend time in a mental hospital once out of prison.
You got to be right up here before you can make a good decision, and many people are not right up here.
David Holton, a retired Jefferson County judge, says Kentucky lacks adequate mental health care. He supports keeping Zantis away from the general public, but stood by the jury's decision.
You want your neighbors and your peers to decide your fate, and that's what this country allows. But this is just a situation where there's a loophole and nobody foresaw this potential.
Nemes said under the Safer Kentucky Act, Zantis wouldn't have qualified for the early release program. Instead, it would have required him to spend at least 17 years in prison.
I've contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office. I want them to try him, prosecute him for the murder. We can't do that in Kentucky at the state level because it's a double jeopardy question.
For now, Zantis is out on parole, even though the Kentucky Parole Board voted unanimously that he stay locked away.
Zantis has been released to the state of Florida and must stay there on parole supervision. That supervision ends next year on June 18th. Live in studio, I'm Ian Hardwick for WHAS11 on your side.
Ian, thank you. More local news at 5. A man is dead following a single-car crash last night in New Albany. Indiana State Police say the incident occurred at about 8:20 p.m. on Brown Station Way near Lewis and Clark Parkway. There, officers, along with fire and emergency workers, found a passenger vehicle that had crashed into a concrete culvert. The 23-year-old driver, the only person in the car, was declared dead at the scene. His family has since been notified. The crash shut down Brown Station Way until 11 p.m. in the evening.
Well, today, an emergency meeting was called to expedite the construction necessary to reopen Plantside Drive in Jeffersontown. Right now, 6 contractors are in the running to oversee the repairs process.
As you can see, the road work got underway on this beautiful day after collapsing yesterday afternoon. 5 inches of rain falling on J-Town, the storm system that caused all kinds of flooding across Louisville. We won't forget.
Now, this was the scene, as you can see behind us, from our Sky 11 drone yesterday. The final cost of those repairs isn't known. Final proposals to complete the construction work, though, will be submitted next Tuesday.
That collapse, as you can see, end to end, blocking the entire roadway. The traffic's been blocked on both directions since yesterday. J-Town's Public Works Department says the heavy rain we saw yesterday caused a pipe that ran beneath the road to collapse, leading to the cave-in.
It's going to be quite expensive, and we are hoping that if there was enough damage in Louisville that FEMA can come in and hopefully offset some costs, but we can't guarantee that. Right now our main goal is to get the roadway open.
A major determining factor in the timeline for repairs is the condition of the collapsed pipe. J-Town Public Works says that if the pipe is salvageable, the process can go a lot faster. Businesses on both sides of Plantside Drive remain accessible, by the way, at this time, so support the businesses.
Yeah, that's a popular stretch of road right there, so they're going to need to get it fixed pretty quick.
So busy going into the Bluegrass Industrial Park there. Well, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell, what a difference just a few hours has made. There's not even, is there a cloud behind you at all you can
I'm
pinpoint?
trying to find one. Yeah, there aren't many in the sky today. It's a stunning day, and we are beginning that drying out process after the flooding rains that we had yesterday. Starting off with a live look outside from our First Savings Bank camera. This is from over in Jeffersonville, part of our Shriners Children's camera network, and temperatures, they're comfortable in the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're at 69 at Iroquois Park, 69 in Fern Creek, lower 70s at both airports, 74 in downtown Louisville, and we're looking at much of the same all across Kentuckiana with temperatures in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and a nice northeast breeze. A little bit breezy at times today. Louisville has had a wind gust up to 29 miles per hour here, and we are looking at widespread gusts anywhere between about 15 to 25. So it's much breezier than we have been anytime recently. Satellite and radar, though, extremely quiet, especially compared to yesterday. No rain to track, just a few fair weather clouds off to our north. And we are expecting clear skies to continue throughout this evening and into tonight. Temperatures will plummet quickly because dew points are so low. So starting from the 70s, cooling into the 60s, 50s, and eventually the upper 40s are possible by early tomorrow morning. So that bus stop forecast tomorrow, it'll be a cool start, but a pleasant afternoon with those highs just in the upper 60s under lots of sunshine. We will take a full look at our 7-day forecast. That's coming up in just a bit, guys.
Mallory, thanks so much. All new happening tonight at 5. JCPS Superintendent Brian Yearwood in brand new comments today clarifying that he won't seek a local tax increase until the school district gets that huge budget deficit down to zero. He made these comments today at the monthly Louisville Forum held at Vincenzo's restaurant in downtown Louisville. At the forum, Yearwood doubled down on spending cuts, saying they'll start at the central office. And speaking to us for the first time since the money crisis made headlines, JCPS Board Chairman Corey Scholl says they have no choice but to reduce costs by more than $130 million by next fall.
So right now there's a process that is being undertaken in order to review all vendors, in order to think about how we can cut away some of the bloat in central office. We're doing everything that we can in order to get to that number. We don't have a choice.
Meantime, Yearwood, who's been on the job 3 months, also said his plan for the future is to raise teacher salaries. But he acknowledged that'll have to wait until they address the current dire financial situation.
Well, we are now more than a week into the government shutdown, and President Trump says he plans to eliminate a number of government programs as a result. Trump is also threatening to deny back pay for furloughed federal workers. ABC News reports flight delays and cancellations are climbing across the country as a number of airport towers and control facilities are left without enough staff to properly handle all flights. We asked Ollie International representatives if they're feeling the effects.
It's hard to look into the future to see what the government shutdown could mean for SDF moving forward. But right now we're in good shape. We feel really good about where we are for staffing with both air traffic controllers as well as TSA staff. Things are going really good here at SDF as well as Bowman Field, and no changes with our TSA staffing here for SDF as well.
And SDF maintains that it is one of the top 5 busiest cargo airports in North America, making it crucial on the global shipping stage. Meanwhile, we went down to Fort Knox today to see how a government shutdown may be affecting operations there.
That's really hard for us because our customers, one thing I'm really proud of is when they come in, we just want to love on them.
Well, a bakery right up the road from Fort Knox, normally packed at lunchtime, was nearly empty earlier today when we stopped by. The shop owner says after the first day of the shutdown, they saw an immediate drop in visitors.
Today, WHAS11's Conroy Deluge in Fort Knox showing us how staffing and one gate entrance is already leaving an impact.
The mayor of the city of Radcliffe, which borders Fort Knox, says that this gate behind me has been closed for a few months because of prior decisions that came from Washington. But now it remains closed because of the shutdown. And even when the gate does open for a few hours in the morning, traffic along Knox Boulevard can still be slow.
So it's just kind of a double whammy for us.
Deb Surratt is the mother of a soldier and opened the Gathering Bakery near Fort Knox to give men and women far away from home a place to, well, gather.
And sometimes they just need a place to go and sit and stay. But if the customers come in and they make this on their first try, then they do get a free drink. Oh, I just made it.
But this week, a normally chatty place is notably quiet.
Usually we'd have 2 or 3 people at the bar, and then downstairs we have another 2,000 square foot downstairs, and we would have at least 3/4 of the tables full.
Anytime there's any talk about a shutdown, reduction, it directly affects us.
J.J. Duvall, the mayor of Radcliffe, says at a time when many are unsure when their next paychecks are coming, budgets will tighten.
And so when you see those reductions or shutdown, it directly affects those businesses, which affects our economy here in Radcliffe.
City government operations remain unaffected, but as the end of the year approaches, property and county taxes will come due.
And obviously, if people aren't being paid, they're not going to be able to make their paychecks. It's going to affect us directly if they can't afford to pay their property taxes.
The prevailing hope is that this showdown over a shutdown does not last as long as the previous one.
We elected them to do their job, so hopefully they, in a timely manner, they get it done.
The Gathering Bakery will continue pouring drinks.
So that they can have coffee, sit here, and gather with us.
And waiting for the soldiers to return. In Hardin County, Conroy DeLuche, WHAS11 on your side.
Well, also in shutdown news, the Trump administration says it's figured out a workaround to help Americans during the shutdown. President Trump wants to use money that's generated by the trade tariffs to help fund the food assistance program, WIC. WIC helps provide food assistance to pregnant women, new moms, and young children in need. But tariff money actually goes into a general fund managed by the Treasury Department, which is frozen until Congress passes a funding bill and reopens the government. Congress and the administration could get around that by passing a measure to designate the tariff revenue for a specific use.
So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
And happening today, that's David Yates of Louisville, officially sworn in as the Jefferson County interim county clerk. Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Angela McCormick-Bissick holding the ceremony right here just this afternoon. Well, David Yates was named by Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg after the death of clerk Bobby Holzclaw. Yates is serving as a Kentucky state senator at the moment, but will have to step down to take this new role. Today, he gave more insight into his top priorities as clerk.
We will improve cooperation and coordination with the offices. If I've learned one thing over the past 15 years, that the people want that and they deserve that. And I know that these partnerships will deliver that. So, a commitment to transparency, efficiency, and community engagement. This team and I are dedicated to ensuring that this office remains a beacon of trust and reliability.
Yates says he will work on improving communications between offices in Jefferson County, something he said voters have expressed they want. He's also running for the office of county clerk full-time. Yates will serve out the remainder of Bobby Holzclaw's term, which ends in November 2026.
Well, a suspect has been arrested in the deadly Palisades fire near Los Angeles this past January. And the reason authorities say ChatGPT is partially to blame.
And here's a look at today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $575 million. Powerball, $223 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.